Hello and welcome back to another game of Dota 2. You're watching StarSeries. We are still in Season 7 and we are still in Day 23. This is Game 5 of 6 today. After this one, we're going to have Alliance versus Quantic. We're going to see how Alliance does us up against Na'Vi in this one. Hyped up match. A lot of high expectations from this game, and I really hope it's going to live up to its expectations and not going to be a one-sided game. We'll find out though, of course. I'm not by myself. I am joined by two people here. We have Nahaz, our stats man, who is still providing you with all the inside information about the game, about the players, about the items and the stats, and occasionally throws out trivia to the chat. And of course, with me also the person that you will hear next to me, it is Capitalist. Capitalist, welcome back!
Thank you, thank you. This should be one hell of a game, Alliance versus Na'Vi. It's been one of the first matchups. There was one other matchup before this, after TI3, where they played up against each other, I think.
Nope.
Alright? Or is this the first time they faced up against each other?
This is the first time. Na'Vi has not played in any other tournament than StarSeries, and neither has Alliance, I believe, so this is it.
Wow. Well, this should be one hell of a game. Na'Vi, let's be honest here. They haven't been looking in their top form, but maybe they're going to step up their game a little bit, especially since they are on the edge for Star and Ladder. They really need this win versus Alliance. Meanwhile, Alliance, Loda is out sick today, so we've got Black filling in, so maybe this is going to cause a little bit of disruption for their team. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But either way, this should be one hell of a matchup for the evening. And we already got some bans coming out. Lifestealer and the Darkseer being taken away by Alliance. And now we got the Naga Siren and Admiral Bulldog's Furion. Taken away. Admiral Bulldog said he was going to show Quantic how to play Furion, but apparently that's not going to be the case.
Nope. Nope, I got denied. We do, however, with these bans, have an IO and a Bad Rider still in the pool, as well as a Lone Druid, of course. We're gonna see which one Alliance favors, and if they're just gonna pick up either IO or Bad Rider, and they're just gonna leave Lone Druid in it. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Also, Weaver OD still in the pool. Also, too, we might be looking out for, as Lifestealer and Darkseer indeed banned out by Alliance. IO gets picked up first. Na'Vi up against the IO that is actually, well, I was almost gonna say Kuroki's avatar, but then I realized that Kuroki's avatar is actually just Na'Vi from Link.
Yeah.
And everything. And Zelda, that's the Na'Vi. So it's not IO, it's just Na'Vi. Never mind that then. So let's see what Na'Vi secures for themselves. They are so far the only team that used a bit of their bonus time, which I always find interesting because when you're going up against a team as Alliance, you would expect to already have talked about how you're going to do that draft, especially the start. Like you go over it, like how are you going to draft against it, whose heroes are you going to ban out, and therefore I was kind of surprised to see them thinking about the Nature's Prophet a bit longer than they might have expected to. Na'Vi still picks up the Bad Rider, solid pickup of course, and we'll take their time to think about the next pickup.
Yeah, Bat Rider's a pretty common pickup, and now with the Abaddon pickup from Na'Vi, I think that they kind of, I mean, we still have to see the second pick from Alliance, but I much prefer Na'Vi's lineup already. The fact that they were able to secure both Bat Rider and Abaddon, both of those heroes being often banned out, the fact that they're able to secure two different high-tier heroes and only giving away the Wisp, I feel is much better, especially given the fact that both of those heroes are pretty good versus Wisp ganks. Abaddon, if he is in that area, Wisp can't really target him once Abaddon's level 6. It's going to take too long to be able to burst down the Abaddon, so it's going to take too long to target him, and whatever ally heroes he's with, he can be able to provide heals and shields and just enough to be able to get through whatever hero is trying to burst him down and keep them alive. Meanwhile, Bat Rider is also a really good counter-ganking hero going up against the Wisp. Whatever hero is brought in, if Bat Rider's in range, blinks in, grabs whatever core is being brought in, the damage dealer, disables him, brings him away, tries to kill him as fast as possible, and then they could just focus on the Wisp after that. So very good defensive pickups against the Wisp, but we're going to see Admiral Bulldog's Lone Druid pickup, and that's a very strong one.
It is. The question is Na'Vi prepared for that? I mean, of course they let it go through, so they were indeed prepared for that, but I think the previous time that Alliance actually had a Lone Druid opportunity to pick it up in the first two pickups, they actually didn't go for it. They went for something else and in the end still got banned out. But we'll see how they deal with this Lone Druid. So far, I mean, everything is still possible for both of the lineups. I mean, neither of the teams is giving anything away right here. Preferably, I'll see the Lone Druid on the safe lane have an aggressive trial for Alliance, but with already an IO picked up, that opportunity is kinda wasted, so maybe Lone Druid's still on the suicide lane, but he needs a lot of time to farm up his Radiance, so we're gonna see how much he's been given. Na'Vi, we've seen Bat Riders in jungle, we've seen him in mid, we've seen him on offlane, we've seen him on Phonic, we've seen him on Dendy. It can both be still possible. And Abaddon is actually the only one that we know that's going to be a support. Most likely, actually, we've seen that before as a carry. We've actually seen Abaddon as a solo mid before. How about that? But I mean, again, you don't really know where they're going to go. You don't know if they're going to be running an aggressive trial. And actually, now that there's an IO up on Alliance, that kind of already means that an IO is a nice support, don't get me wrong. And, you know, he can save your carry by just giving him some extra speed, but it's not really ideal up against an aggressive trial lane. It's not going to offer you the security that, for example, a Rubik or a Bane offers you, or a Naga Siren for that matter. So, if Na'Vi want to run an aggressive trial lane, I think they still can, especially with Abaddon. We've seen it before and it works out just fine. We have a Bounty Hunter as well as a Chen removed from the pool here on both sides, one of the heroes. And actually, I just realized I prefer to see Abaddon Weaver dual lane and then another. I just want to see a 2-1-2 matchup for Na'Vi, actually. Hereby decided.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Weaver is going to be a high priority pick, I feel, for Na'Vi. Now, it's not the greatest versus Lone Druid a lot of times, but it is really, really strong with their lineup so far. You've got a good Disable and Bat Rider to be able to allow you to put out some good physical damage with the Weaver, and then also the Abaddon being able to provide a lot of support. It allows Weaver to be that much more aggressive. When he has a shield on top of him, he can easily tower dive. So I feel that Abaddon is best run when he is in dual lanes like you were talking about because of the support he provides. So some sort of really strong offlaner, Weaver would be a good choice, absolutely. But with a Bat Rider pickup, I doubt we're going to see that. I think we're probably going to see more defensive tri lane that focuses on abusing the Radiant jungle and getting in the extra experience and gold that you can by triple pulling, and just a strong control for mid and some sort of hard carry for Na'Vi. But we'll have to see. Taking a really long time on their bans here. Both teams using the reserve time for their final bans. Bane is going to be the other ban away for Alliance. A very high disable hero that would combo well with Bat Rider and also makes up for the fact that Abaddon lacks disables. Meanwhile, Na'Vi thinking about, they took away the Chen and also thinking about an additional hero. They can't really go a jungler on Na'Vi, so they might as well take it away from Alliance. You can't run a Chen, a non-disabled support hero, with an Abaddon as well. It's just too risky. You'd have to make it up for with some really aggressive cores, and I don't think they want to do that here.
Yeah, and you make a good point with that. The team's taken so long with going for their bans and just, you know, thinking it through real hard. And of course, we know that for Na'Vi is really important because they're not doing too hot on StarSeries in terms of they kind of need this win. And they've got a lot of more high priority teams to face. They're facing KP and Fnatic tomorrow. Also, that's by the way, tomorrow, also a good day. But also two teams that are doing really well in StarSeries, even though actually Fnatic not doing as well as they probably would want them to, but still hard targets to take. And, I mean, there's a lot of pressure for them on this game to actually get to the finals because, really, StarSeries without Na'Vi, Star Ladder Land Finals without Na'Vi, of course last time it was the case because they were in China, but them not being there because they just didn't win enough games, that's going to be a hard thing to take for Na'Vi. Alliance, this is a game for them that's going to be proving like, you know what, we're still on top of this. On top of that, they also have a stand-in, so they might be a bit more thinking that through, even though I'm quite confident that Black will do just fine with farming up and taking over the role from Loda. And actually, the interview that Kuroki did recently with Epi, Kuroki said, like, take away everything from Alliance, but keep S4 and Admiral Bulldog, and you'll still be having a very strong team, and they'll still be the same Alliance in terms of having the same ideas and same playstyle and such. So, in theory, Black can be exchanging without any results, or without any, you know, real life-changing changes there, according to Kuroki anyway. Well, we'll see that. And Na'Vi actually go for the Enchantress in the end, still having the jungle hero. I guess Enchantress a lot more aggressive than Enchant can be early on, and if you get the right creeps, you can, of course, get yourself to go ganking very easily on, and you have got yourself an extra disable if you pick up, for example, a troll or something like that. They go for the OD as well, so that will be a hero for Dendy. That's probably going to mean that Funnick will take on the Bad Rider, will go on the offlane / jungle, and we'll have to then share the jungle with Enchantress, but that shouldn't be too big of a problem, especially not considering that Puppy is normally very aggressive on his jungle heroes in terms of ganking and roaming, and therefore leaving extra space for Funnick to take the farm. Alliance, they picked themselves up a Keeper of the Light. That's going to be their support combination. As you said, very safe. So if there's an aggressive Triland against them, they'll be able to illuminate them to death and just be fairly safe with that. And we're waiting for them to tick through more bonus time before they're going to pick up their next hero.
With this Enchantress pickup, I was talking about how they don't really want to pick up a jungler, but apparently they do. They've got the Bat Rider who's already going to be in the jungle, so that kind of gimps your jungle a little bit as Enchantress. It takes away one hard camp that you'd like to be able to have access to. So you can cherry pick your neutral creeps a little bit better, but here they're going to be running both of them in the jungle, presumably. The OD with the mid, and they have no hard disables except for the Bat Rider being able to ult and the Banish being able to stop certain channeling spells, but other than that, they don't have any stuns, and I think that's a bit of a concern. Alliance is now going to be able to pick up an Alchemist, so they don't have much to be able to stop him from being able to throw down those concoctions. There's no way to keep him disabled and make them burst on himself. If they pick up a really highly mobile mid, besides the Bat Rider, you don't have any hero that's going to be able to shut him down. Now, granted, you're going to be going up against an OD, and neither a Quap nor a Puck is going to want to be able to deal with that matchup.
10 seconds
but
remaining.
either way, in fact, it may actually be, they could run dual lanes here. They could run some sort of aggressive mid with a Wisp, being able to pick up a Bottle Crow, etc. Keeper of the Light with the Alchemist at top in the safe lane, Lone Druid off lane. And that could be a really greedy way for them to try and, one, shut down the OD, but two, also be able to abuse the fact that Na'Vi is going to be spending most of their time in their own jungle. They're not going to try and move around their gank. They have an Enchantress who can maybe pick up a smoke and gank mid once, but other than that, none of their heroes are ready to move outside of their lane. They're just focusing on getting their own farm. They have some strong mid game, but their early laning phase, there's not going to be any real movement from Na'Vi, and that could be an opening for Alliance, whether they pick up... Oh, well, Lone Druid could go mid. I guess they could pick up an offlane or some sort of jungler here as well.
Well, I'm quite surprised that the Razor is still in the pool. Of course, a counter that we see often against the OD. But Lone Druid, definitely a counter against the OD that could be very strong. And we know that it has been done before. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen here as well. It would mean, however, that S4 will have to take on the offlane. And looks like that he will actually play his Magnus. So Magnusson will play Magnus once more. It's been a while since we've seen Magnus. And dare I say, it's actually... It might be the first time that we see him in StarSeries. I would like to have a stats on that, Nahaz, I really would, because we haven't seen Magnus in such a long time. Troll Warlord picked up by Na'Vi as the last one. Again, no disable, but they get themselves a bash if he's lucky, and of course the extra attack speed for the OD if he gets his Orbitech off. That's pretty damn scary to be dealing with. And also Enchantress, of course, who normally likes to go for a Mask of Madness to throw out extra impetuses. Troll Warlord definitely helps out with that as well, but they have a hard pushing lineup a bit. Well, I say a bit because, I mean, Enchantress as well as a Troll, that combination is pretty push heavy, but as you said, I mean, that lack of disables might cost them something, but we'll see. We'll see how they deal with that, because if they go 5-man, I mean, they'll get RP'd. I'm not great sure how it will work out for either of the teams, actually. But that's okay, because that's why we're here. We're going to see how it works out. We're going to see if this match lives up to its expectations. And the expectations definitely are very high, I think, for a lot of people. And, yeah. Once again, you're watching Starlight StarSeries, Day 23, Game 5 of 6 games today. After this one, we're going to have Alliance versus Quantic. And we're still in Season 7. Next week, Sunday, by the way, is the last day of the group stages. So then we know which 4 teams will go to Kiev and which others, of course, which 12 teams won't be. And we have got Alliance on the Dire side, Na'Vi on the Radiant side. Let's see who's playing what. Admiral Bullock will take on the Lone Druid. So far have moved middle, but his bear is already hiding on top, bottom lane rather. So I'm expecting still S4 to take on the middle lane. S4... on the Magnus, we'll talk about that up against the OD later on. We have got the Aki playing the Keeper of the Light. Is it the Aki? Just Aki playing Keeper of the Light. EGM will play his IO, and then last but not least, it is Black, who is standing in for Loda at this point. He'll take on the Alchemist.
And over on the Navi side, Puppy's going to be on the Enchantress, Vos is on the Troll, Dendi on the OD, Kuro's on the Abaddon, and Funnick is on his Bat Rider. Bat Rider already having to go into his jungle OD. Gonna have a pretty good time versus Mag middle. Now, Mag does have a relatively low mana pool, so if he gets hit by one too many imprisons, he can actually get less mana than is possible for him to cast his Shockwave. So this is going to be problematic, but actually Ake is already putting some pressure on Dendi, grabbing the Illusion Rune and actually putting some damage on him. That's a good start to this lane because it allows S4 to pick up some good CS without having to spam out Shockwave. So that's a good start, but honestly I don't see this lane really going well for S4, unless Ake plans on sitting here for the rest of the laning phase.
Well,
and trying to do this interesting dual lane.
Well, S4 actually picks up Empower, which might help him. I mean, okay, he knows that he can't really rely on Shockwave to get his last hits with, which is actually something that normally is the case. By the way, the bear is able to pull the creep wave back behind the tower, so some solid farm there for Admiral Bulldog. But with S4, yeah, because it's interesting. He, by the way, Ake leaves his illusions around, but S4 gets left behind. In also comes a Hellburst Smasher, allowing to harass S4 a bit away. Luckily for S4, it's not the Harpy, but look at the harassment he's taking. It's a lot of harassment. He has got regen, of course, but he can't really afford to use himself when there's still a Hellburst around there. It's going to be a really tough lane for him, and he is only here for the experience. He cannot be hoping to get that many last hits up against Dendi in this lane.
This is really going to hurt his Blink Dagger, and actually S4, he may go down here. One more auto attack. Dendi runs into the Ursa, and unfortunately is not able to get off the final auto attack that might have clinched the kill. But either way, he's going to win this lane. That's going to be a slow Blink Dagger coming out from S4. The free farm lane for Black, the legendary farmer himself on the Alchemist, one of the fastest farmers in the game. We'll have to keep an eye on his farm, because that's going to be definitely something to keep watch. Bat Rider's doing his normal jungle deal, farming up the easy camp while stacking the hard. And it's going to be Hobost farming bottom. Now Na'Vi, they're going to have to really focus on the mid game pretty hard here with just the OD and the Troll as your carries going up against Lone Druid and Alchemist. But I really question whether or not they're going to be able to fight mid game, whether they're going to be able to put enough pressure on Alliance before Black comes out with all of his items, considering it's one of the fastest farmers in the game. Black is going to be able to pick up his necessary items really early on, and it kind of cuts short the timeline for Na'Vi to be able to just dominate the map and start pushing down towers. While they may already be doing it in the laning phase, as we see, they're actually ganking the Spirit Bear.
Yeah, they should be
They'll
able
be able to
get
take
this.
the tier 1 early.
There's no resummon on the bear, by the way. This is going to be no bear for 2 minutes. So that's going to be Admiral Bulldog shut down hard and might actually take some Sanctuary into the jungle. He's actually getting some help of Aki. That will be enough to maybe at least slow the push down. I'm not quite sure if it's enough, though. It's looking like this tower is, well, pretty convincing on the way of Na'Vi. Illuminates will come through. We'll do some harassment, but then he actually taking, Puppy actually taking a lot of harassment here from the tower. The shield's already popped, but well, more Illuminates coming through might be enough. Oh, Puppy so close to dying. He has still got his Nature's Attendants in the meantime. S4 sitting off 5 last hits mid. Well, Dendi has taken the lead, of course. 16 to 15 last hits here for OD.
Yeah, you know, this is the Power Keeper Light, the fact that he can rotate to offlane really early on and stop these pushes. They've already done some pretty decent damage to the tower, and they haven't even really fully committed. Once that Troll has his ultimate Battle Trance, that tower is going to go down very quickly. Very, very, very quickly. So the biggest problem is Admiral Bulldog is shut down and S4 is shut down. But they make up for it in the fact that Black is completely free farming. Now has a Midas already. 4 minutes in with level 3 Grievous Greed. He's going to get so big so fast that I really question whether or not Na'Vi is going to be able to break racks before Black is too big.
Yeah, it all depends on when they start laying down the more pressure, when of course if Host reaches a level where he has got perhaps a Vlad's or something like that, or a Helm the Dominator and a BKB. There's going to be his items that he wants to have. He is free farming as well. I might not have a Hand of Midas, but he's doing okay thus far. By the way, as you might have noticed that the information just now was wrong. Power Rangers did not win up against Alliance on yesterday, but they won against them on Thursday. So, That was the one time that Abaddon did not have a success there. Abaddon, the first time that Na'Vi drafted, Kuroki will play that one. He is farming, he's level 3 right now, or farming the jungle, I should say. I mean, again, in a game like this where there's basically only 2 lanes that people are actually meet each other, or actually only one, only mid lane with Lone Druid now out of the picture for a while without a bear. He has got a bear again right now, so he'll get himself back on track. But the supports are going to be playing a very prominent role here, and we actually have a smoke coming up. Puppey walks in, he's got himself a troll, Eclipse comes out as well, the net still comes out before the troll disappears, and that's going to be our first blood on the board, picked up by Denny. An extra gold going the way of Na'Vi there, and of course the lane which was already won by Na'Vi, now even won more convincingly. I think there's, by the way, a lot of pressure on Aki this game, because if you're talking about trying to delay the game for Na'Vi to give space to the Alchemist to farm even more, Aki is going to be the one to do it. He is going to be needing to land those Illuminates, and therefore levels for him are actually very important. So far he's level 3. He actually went for level 3 in Chakra Magic. He needs to get level 5 to get himself some extra levels in the Illuminate to be able to do enough, but we'll see if he gets those fast enough. So you've got Io leveling fast as well, of course. He's taken all the experience from the jungle creeps. He is level 4.
Yeah, this should be besides middle, where we may see another kill go down on S4 pretty soon here, just because it is so easy. Like, Dendi didn't even have to necessarily pop his ultimate. I bet they would have killed him without it. But either way, this is so easy to get kills on S4. We may see another one, but for the most part, that's going to be a pretty passive matchup.
Yeah, they're going to go for
coming
S4
in, they're going to go again.
Yep. In comes an Illuminate trying to help out, but there's no mana for a skewer up on S4. He tries to run for it, but gets slowed down and gets taken down as well. This time Poppy takes the last hit. And I mean, as you said, it's just a very easy pickups. And he is not even, well, he is level 6, I guess. Maybe he can try to make something happening, but he's just not able to do anything right now. He's got 15 last hits. His net worth is just super low. And I mean, he's got boots, which is nice and all that, but it's... How much can he actually do this game? How much of an impact will he have? How much can he stop Na'Vi from going in? That's the question, of course.
Yeah, I'm interested to see whether he goes Shadowblade, because with the Wisp, they can actually provide a lot of early ganking potential, which will slow down some of the control that Na'Vi has and kind of put them on edge. So if he gets a Shadowblade, he can actually come in. He doesn't have to be really aggressive with it. It'll just be a nice addition to the Wisp relocate ganks that they're already looking at. Alchemist is already one of the stronger hard carries to be able to be with Wisp when they relocate, because he can start Unstable Concoction early on before they relocate, and as they come in, if he's in range, you know, that's only going to be 2 seconds left. It's a high level nuke, high level stun to be able to start out your damage, and a big addition to some of these ganks and team fights. Either way though, Hovos is completely free farming in this bottom lane, and actually being very, very aggressive. And that may be an opening for some sort of rotation from Alliance.
Yeah.
Look at him, he's diving past, he's going to go dive into tier 3s. It's really ridiculous.
But he can do it in the meantime. S4, he came in to try and maybe help. Kuroki's gonna find him. He didn't spec up any levels into the Curse of Avernus, so won't be able to slow his opponent down. And I mean, they just take down a tier 2 tower. Why not? 8 minutes into the game. Fortification gets pushed out, but it doesn't matter. This tower will drop. Puppey takes the gold. Puppey who's sitting on a kill and an assist, and his net worth is pretty damn high. It's higher than the solo mid of Alliance, which I guess is not that difficult to do. Oh, in comes the last two. Phonic finds Aki. Aki goes down. Bad Rider with a kill. And 4-0 as Io also goes down to the OD Sanity's Eclipse in the dire jungle. Dendy still with a double damage shroom. Goes for S4 now. Has not got an Astral Imprisonment just yet. And don't think he's going to go for it anymore. But this is just Na'Vi. This is exactly the thing that they need to do. They need to get ahead right now because they can't wait very much longer. S4 finds himself in some trouble. Will try to skewer away, but Astral Imprisonment will stop him from doing that. He's gonna appear there, I think. Yeah, he will die though. Abaddon in the end with the last hit with the shield. 5-0, dominating, or ownage I should say, for Na'Vi. And another tower down the drain. The mid-tier 1 tower will drop. Most likely.
Yep, they're doing a nice job controlling in early, getting some pickoffs, especially with Phonic being able to pick up that nice early Blink Dagger. That was huge. He must have gotten pretty lucky with his camps, because he having a Blink Dagger and being that far in at bottom, that was really good timing for his Blink Dagger. Yeah. So now they're going to be able to roam. They'd taken bottom, they'd taken middle, and now the time to put some pressure on top. Wisp really needs that relocate. Finally, EGM does have it. Has nothing else but an urn on top of his shoulders. Actually going to be able to pick up a smoke as well. But they need to be ready to rotate to top, and they should know. They've got the vision for it. Know that all of Na'Vi is going to be going top. Maybe Havos is going to stay bottom. But even so, he's going to be a big addition to the team fight with that ultimate.
Yeah, for Lions, it's just one job they have. Hold on long enough for both their Lone Druid and their Alchemist to get their items up. I'm actually expecting Alchemist to still go for... Oh, actually, he's going for a dead puppy. Nice stun up into the Acid Spray, but in comes Funny. He has got a lasso. He takes home with him. EGM, up to the high ground he goes. Impetus is hit, and that's going to be one IO dead. In the meantime, the bear gets an entangle up on Puppy, but it doesn't matter. The shield is there. And it's going to keep him safe. The bear itself, though, not very safe. Gets taken down, or should be getting taken down. There he goes. 300 gold extra going away. A Funnick. In comes Illuminate, trying to stop Na'Vi from continuing to find people, but they did still find themselves as 4, who is completely out of mana, hasn't been able to do anything this game just yet, apart from dying over and over again. And we now have got 7 kills on the side of Na'Vi, and no kills going the way of Alliance whatsoever. And this should be resulting into a tier 1 top.
Yeah, I really expected, I'm a little bit surprised that Alliance didn't attempt to put, it's not his normal thing, but put Admiral Bulldog in that mid as Lone Druid versus the OD. This laning phase, especially the decision to put Magnus up against it, has really backfired against them. Bulldog, expecting to get shut down at bottom, that's fine, but having your mid just getting so crushed is really hurting Alliance. They're so far behind now, and even Black's free farm is not going to be enough to be able to stop this. Shadowblade was picked up by Black. He knows he needs to get into this game early. He can't afford to let Na'Vi just stomp his allies over and over, so he's going to go ahead and join them in middle, and they're going to try and at least get some sort of tower trade off of Na'Vi pushing in top.
I don't think they can get it, though. I mean, the tier 1 tower already dead. And they are not going to continue on the tier 1 middle either. I mean, it's just too much right now. They are smoking up, though. With that Shadowblade, they feel like they can make something happen. They've got an RP, no Blink Dagger, mind you. Just a Skewer to get in there. And, of course, Astral Imprisonment will be there to try and stop that from happening. But at least maybe Alliance can put up a fight and actually get themselves a kill out of this. In the meantime, we're 12 minutes into this game. We're 7,500 gold in favor of Na'Vi. Experience going 4k in their favor. And actually, we're going to have a go on Dendi here. In comes a stun. Up on Dendi. Is it enough? Shockwave comes in as well. That's going to be the first kill that Alliance takes. They take down Dendi. Was by himself. And the rest of Na'Vi backs themselves out, realizing what might be coming.
Well played. First of many pickoffs, but Na'Vi, they know the Shadowblade is up, and they know that Black is going to be getting a little bit more gank heavy, so maybe play a little bit more passive, especially having Kuro. If you're going to extend out like that past the river, you need to be able to have Kuro there to help you. When the stun goes off, pop that shield, pop that heal, and reverse a lot of the damage that it does. So from now on, need to be a little bit more careful, but that single pickoff is not going to be that important. Alliance, that was actually the first time they get themselves on the board. 7-1. Na'Vi, 8,000 gold lead, about a 3,000 experience lead.
Yeah, and
they're ready to just continue to stomp this game.
Yeah, especially if Avos gets himself an Aegis here. He's trying to go for the Roshan. He's by himself, just gets help with the Wolf. That's actually a lot of help. Of course, that Aura doing the work there. And with his Helm of the Dominator, he can just stand here and just take this. 13-minute Aegis taken by Havos. And that's gonna mean next time Alliance has to go for fight. Yeah. Ooh.
Good addition of the Wolf to be able to help out his damage. So, very, very fast Roche pickup, and look at how aggressive he's being in middle. I mean, he has nobody surrounding him, but he has the Aegis, but still, if he goes down, yeah, he's really far out there. So unfortunately, Alliance just does not have the vision to be able to recognize that fact.
No,
that he was very, very isolated.
Yeah, they have to be sure to, if they want to go in like this, they have to be sure that there's nobody of Na'Vi or Alliance around there as they find EGM, lasso him down to Kuroki, Flame Break helping out, one dead IO coming right up. And that's going to be another pickup for Na'Vi, as in the meantime, Puppy is pushing in mid lane, having his heroes, or creeps rather, helping him out. 8-1. Still no RP used.
Yep, they're going to go ahead and push in their first or second tier 2 tower. They're going to take in middle. Dendi being very, very aggressive. With the mech, the troll, they have so much mid-game. They have a lot of sustainability. They Abaddon as well provides a lot. They're going to be able, despite their lack of disables, their heals are really going to be making up for that fact. They can just 5-man push in, and there's no amount of damage, no... Like, the Keeper of the Light, for example, is supposed to be this great turtling hero, but that damage is completely negated every single time he illuminates. It's completely negated by a lot of the sustainability coming out from Na'Vi. So, all these heals and everything doing work. The fact that they're able to win their lane so heavily is going to be able to put them in a huge advantage going into the mid-game. And Alliance, honestly, Admiral Bulldog is actually in a lot of trouble bottom. Funnick's going to try and finish him off, and I don't think Bulldog's going to be able to get away at all.
With that haste rune, so annoying. Flame Ring comes out, stands in the flames, dies for it as 4 comes in too late. And I mean, he said he lost 200 gold for that. He is still going to go towards finding his Radiance, apparently, for his bear, but he is so far away from that, and I think it's going to be coming too late. Illuminate, the one that you already mentioned, it's only level 2, so... It's not enough to push back. Astro Imprisonment holds S4 in place. S4 might try to go for an RP, but even if he is, he's not going to be able to throw anything against it. Like, there's no follow-up, and down he goes. 10-1, in comes Black, looks for a stun, finds it, but knows that he can't do anything, and actually gets lassoed towards the rest of Na'Vi. Black, he can't use his Channel Blade to get away. He will end up going down. Another pickup for Na'Vi. Alliance cannot find a way to fight up against this might. It's just too much. Poppy's still taking quite a bit of damage, but Shield's coming out of plenty, and Kuroki doing his job and healing everybody back up. The tier 3 tower is still standing for now. Everybody of Alliance that is actually up alive is hiding here behind the tier 3, hoping that they get some extra time to farm up some items, but it doesn't look to be the case.
Yep, they're gonna go in, try and crack open this tier 3. They still have the Aegis to fall back on. They still have the mech as well. There's just nothing an Alliance can do. They're outputting all of this damage, but for every bit of damage that Na'Vi takes, they return it in favor onto that tier 3.
Imagine if S4
and if they
had
just
a blink.
continue to do this.
That might have been such a difference. Nice Illuminate. But there's still the Aegis there for Troll, so he's not that worried about this. And I mean, even if you think like they're still, you know, well, relocates there to maybe pick off people. At this point, Na'Vi, they have no intention of leaving someone by himself to actually get picked off. They're doing 5-man Dota, and they can afford it. I mean, they're ahead by 14k gold, 8k experience, and they are knocking on the door of a tier 3 tower. And I mean, in comes a blink, in comes a lasso, gets himself the IO. Down goes EGM, or is he? In comes a stun, and the IO still goes down. Denny might go down as well, though. Takes a lot of damage, but in comes the shield. In comes an RP up on 2. S4 gets himself something, and now tries to run for it. Tries to at least distract them from going for the base. Down he goes. Aki drops as well. Buyback from Aki, though, as Avose takes a stun. The shield is still there. Black knows what's coming. Tries to Shadow Blade himself away as Denny is on the hunt again as well. They find him. They kill him. 2 heroes left alive for Alliance. One who just bought back, the other one who tries to make it back to base. And actually is not able to do that. Maybe the tether will help. Aki, gets picked up as well. Denny is just dominating right now. Does die for it in the end, but I don't think he minds all that much. There goes the Alchemist back up alive because he bought back, but they are now tower diving. This is going to be the hope for Alliance, that Na'Vi is going to be so blind on taking these kills that they're not going to go for Rax, and that they're hereby buying more time for Alliance to maybe farm up some items later on, but they do regain focus, and they go back for the Rax. Aegis indeed taken down. Right now, Alliance is back up alive, or at least most of them are, but they can't really do anything against this fact that they are indeed being Raxed right now, and all they can do is hope that it goes away, and that they won't go towards the mid lane, or towards the bottom lane, or just continue on finding kills.
Yeah, if Alliance had a chance at being able to defend if they had Blink Dagger and their Radiance up before the final tower pushes and the racks being taken by Na'Vi, but now, even if they do get that, they're just so far behind that the Radiance isn't really going to change much. But this is Alliance, they're still going to hold on. We know the power of Alliance being able to turn games around. And Admiral Bulldog, he's going to go bottom, see if he can finish up at least his Relic before he has to leave this lane. He can't stay here for long, though, because he knows that Na'Vi is going to be on the hunt. Yeah,
Funnick is going to get the double damage rune and might actually be trying to make something happen here. I mean, he's got his Force Staff, his Blink Dagger. He's going to try to go for it. He's by himself. Maybe Baden will be close by to help out as well, but we'll see. Funnick shows himself. Baden, Kuroki. Nah, not gonna go for it. In the end, they stick around. I'm actually thinking maybe they were gonna have a relocate. Perhaps they can make something happen. Havos, level 14 with the Manta style, though, there's not that easy to take down at all. And they kind of need Black for that as well, but Black is by himself farming middle. They can't find a pickup right now. They don't have the vision for it either. The only ward that they have up is the one they have at the Roche Pit, and they don't really see anybody moving around there right now. And Bulldog right now just... Oh, he has a relic. His bear was able to pick up the relic. He didn't want to risk his own life for it, but risk his bear's life. Still very far away from the recipe, of course. The question is, will Alliance, or will Na'Vi rather, give him the time to farm it? Oh, no, they won't. That's a bear turned into a piglet, and that's going to be one dead bear. And that's going to, of course, be a Radiance or a Relic gone. With the bear being on cooldown for another 12 seconds, it's not the end of the world, but it does mean that for the next fight, there's only one bear. And Na'Vi knows it. Agging himself for Poppy. Ooh, blink forward. Hello, EGM. Bye, EGM. Nice knowing you, EGM.
Well, between that and the bear, they now have a significant advantage going up into the base. I mean, they're already, that team fight was already going to go their way anyway, but now they've got even more of an advantage. They can go up. Scythe of Ice is up on OD. What else do they have? Manta up on Havost.
Yeah, it's quite... Well, quite far behind for Alliance, let's put it that way. The only one that's attempting to keep up, or at least that's able to keep up, is actually Black. But then again, he is an alchemist, so he had free farm. He's going to be able to do that. Ranged Rex will still go down. But of course, they don't want to defend that, because if they defended that, they would have lost their melee Rex middle, and they don't want to do that either.
Yep, Alchemist is still Black. He's trying to finish off his BKB, but he's still quite a ways away. Now Funix is going to come in and see. He doesn't have a lasso just yet. Maybe he's just trying to scare Black away. Maybe try and stop his teleport out.
Nope. Still gonna be Black, having himself the Minthro Hammer. Just needs 800 gold. Then he has a BKB. And I mean, it's not even that bad if Black gets to farm the top lane. I mean, it does give half the gold, but at least he's got level 3 in Grievous Greed, so he'll get some extra gold from all the assets he gets, so I would actually suggest for him to farm that. But they're actually letting Lone Druid farm that because they know that he might also be... I mean, he is only 700 gold away from having a Radiance. And one has to farm 700 gold, the other 800, so which one will we let farm? The one that needs least to make an impact. Oh, EGM, again! Lassoed, why not? In the meantime, Aki, up in the side of Tornado, one impetus doesn't hit, actually still does, never mind, that's a lot of damage. That's gonna be a double kill for Poppy. Of course he does. That's gonna be 2 heroes dead once more, no illuminates. In the meantime, on the bottom lane, perhaps they can do something to Avos, but he don't get an entangle. Avos was able to take down some damage of the tier 3. In the meantime, the rest of Na'Vi already taken down the mid tier 3 tower by themselves. I mean, who needs a troll, right? He does have his trans up again. Yeah, there we go. Going for another tower, why not?
Yeah, it's funny how they don't have a whole lot of physical damage to be able to crack open the base and deal damage to these towers, except for the troll ultimate. But it's enough. Like, if all of Na'Vi is focusing on the tower, the output of damage is actually huge with that battle trance.
And they're basically trying to force Alliance to move wherever they are, and Alliance can't really get anything done in the meantime. In comes an Illuminate, down goes the tower. And Aki not able to make anything happen. In comes maybe Stun. RP already up on 2. Stun up on 2 as well. Kuroki and Phonic. In comes the Tenatis Eclipso and Dendy. He already cleaned out S4 who buys back. Astral Imprisonment up on the IO. In the meantime, Lasso hits upon Bulldog. He will get picked off. Triple kill for Dendy. And the GG gets called. That's gonna be it for Alliance. They lose this game here in StarSeries. They lose their second game in StarSeries, and Na'Vi gets their win, which they really needed desperately to maybe face Alliance once again on LAN in Kiev, even though for both teams it's not yet over. Especially not for Alliance, because they still have to face Quantic in the game after this one, and as we saw previous time that they faced each other, that was a pretty close game.
Yeah, it was. We're going to see that rematch, so Alliance... I'm very surprised that they lost to Na'Vi, but honestly, I think a lot of this comes back down to the draft. Na'Vi had strong synergy between their heroes, And honestly, the Magnus pickup ended up not really doing much for Alliance at all. So at the very least, I think Sheever, you can feel vindicated in the fact that you know, depressing Bulldog earlier, it wasn't the only problem with Alliance. So it wasn't just Bulldog's play that would have saved Alliance. So
Okay.
at least you have that.
Yay, thank you. Well, I actually still think maybe laning switched around, as you already mentioned, put Lone Druid mid, put the Magnus off lane, that might have been more successful, but you're right, it was an awkward pickup, and they paid for it, and they paid for it dearly. Only 2 kills going the way of Alliance, both of them up on Dendi, but both not making any difference whatsoever. We're gonna see another game of Alliance though, and because of this fairly fast game, we are actually 20 minutes ahead of schedule. Boom. We're gonna have ourselves Quantic versus Alliance though. Let's see how long we have to wait for that one to be up. We'll soon be back with another game of Dota 2. Stick around for more StarSeries Season 7, Day 23, and soon Game 6 of 6. Don't go anywhere.